The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily represent the opinions of WTBR-FM, its management, other producers, or sponsors.
Well, the Good Wallace didn't get herself ejected in the state final for some dumb stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to say I dreaded showing up to this football game on Friday night, but
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Mike, if you want to talk, you have to talk into the microphone. There we go. Mic to mic.
I'm lost.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Pittsfield Community Radio 89.7 WTBR-FM Pittsfield, 88.1 WSBR Lee. This is the Bird's Eye View. Jesse and Mike here on this Thursday. It's no longer pouring rain, thankfully, knock on wood, all that. And I've actually had a really irritating thing. I actually had an incredibly aggravating thing on Sunday. It was irritating this morning because my key fob is dying for my car.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty much dead. And it takes, it's one of those like tiny silver round batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided that it'd be the rare one. So I went to Big Y to buy it, and it's the same. I go home and I pull my key fob apart, and it's this right diameter, but it's twice as thick, so it doesn't fit.
Okay.
And then I come here and I ask some of the guys at TBR, and they're like, "Oh yeah, 2032. You got a million of them." And I go, "No, it's a 2016." Which I guess is they're not. Those are not dates. Those are just two types of batteries.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
and
say,
so mine is
2032 hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, no. 2016 definitely has happened. And yeah, so it's just a completely different type of battery. And so I'm gonna have to like search through car hardware to find however many batteries I can look for that match this thing.
Exciting. Are you not an internet shopper?
Well, that's the thing. It's like on actually one of them went to Walmart and was like, "Oh, immediately it says look for 2032s," and that's not at all what I want. I also imagine I'd have to get like 30 if I want them. And I bought two 2032s at Walmart, so now that would just be in my house for the next 90 years because you never use those. You never use them.
So, very slowly over.
Yeah,
I believe because you have an older car, it probably lasts longer. To be honest, I believe we've replaced the ones in our Subaru like 3 times in the 4 years that we've owned it.
Maybe.
But
yeah, I don't know if battery retention is a thing with it. No, on Sunday, isn't it incredible sometimes how fast?
How many times do you click it? Because that's the thing. Like maybe that's the thing that we do is like. Do you lock your car?
Click it?
Yeah, you don't click it like 8 times to lock your car. I do that.
No,
it's not like satisfying. It's the satisfying, and then you go like the beep 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 beep, and then you're like, oh, it's definitely locked now. No, you don't do that.
You have a 4-year-old. You yourself are not 4. We know this. We've confirmed this, right?
It's fun.
When you tell E to not stop playing with the button.
Well, he likes to push the red button, and we never don't push the red button.
No,
that's the bad one.
That's good.
That's the bad one.
You're just locking the car 10 times.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like it never struck me that like maybe that's why our batteries die much quicker than they should. I'm gonna tell my wife this.
Huh. When you
use
the battery more, the battery goes down. Is this what you're telling us?
All of vacation, we were on Cape Cod for a full week, and we had both keys to the Subaru on the same keychain because, both of them were like half dead. Like one was definitely dead, and we weren't sure which one or whatever. So we just had both the entire time. But if you use the key to push the button, it overrides it. I've learned that as well.
Well. I'm glad that you've learned that using batteries
a lot of tricks,
makes them go down.
A lot of tricks to the trade.
That's a fun thing. No, I was gonna say it's incredible how fast the honeymoon phase of something ends, and then it's just replaced by anger because this new company bought my building, and first couple months or first month or so was honeymoon phase, and it was very good. They started doing things. They were fixing things. I haven't the washers and the dryers in my apartment building have not worked since Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden there's new ones in there, and it's like, woo, all right, and they're doing some stuff, and it's nice and it's fun. And then on Sunday, I tripped my circuit breaker, and I went, and so it's an apartment building, so no one has the breaker box in their apartment. There's like a central location, and it's just 2 cabinets, and so those are where all the breakers are. And so there's a lockbox, and you put in the lockbox code, and then you open up the cabinet, and you do it. Okay. And so I put in the lockbox code, and it doesn't work. Put it in again, it doesn't work. putting it in the 6th time and it doesn't work. And now I'm aggravated.
Sure.
Not to say other words. And so, long story short, they changed the code. And these incompetent clowns didn't tell anyone, nor did they write down or put out what the new code is. And so I left a couple angry voicemails because
keeping the circuit breaker.
Yeah, because these morons also don't have somebody on call. So if you have problems after closing hours, you're hosed, kid.
That's not great for
all goodwill completely out the window. It was one of those doors where like one side of the door goes over the other, and that's where part of the latch is, and it flips over, and then the flip over part is where the lock is. So I just unscrewed the latch on the one side, and I could just pull the whole thing apart. And then I did it the manual way.
Okay.
So that way I could get power back because these
SOL until
these
morning.
idiots.
Okay.
So now I'm not at all happy with them.
I could say
I
that.
imagine
guess
they're
I
not
don't
happy
miss
with me,
that.
but I don't care.
I don't miss that, but there are certain times of home ownership where you're like, it'd be nice if somebody else would just handle this problem.
You mean when you have to pay $10,000 for a new water boiler?
That was I don't know what that's a different coworker of ours claiming.
I thought you had to buy one.
I had to buy one. Not that much money.
Okay,
I don't know what he's. I think he may have misspoke or he's confused. I don't know.
He might have bought a more expensive.
I guess maybe there's two different things. Oh, there are two different things in my basement. One, someone might be listening to this who knows a lot more than us. A boiler and a water heater are two different things.
That's true.
We replaced a water heater, but it was like $1,700, something like that. Like. I don't know. He quoted the price that was quoted to us in the office once was like a new car, essentially, or a used car. Like a new car.
No,
a new car like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy.
No, it was. I don't know. Yeah.
And then I was terrified for like a solid week until like, we got it. We're all set.
Yeah. So to be fair, $1,700 not exactly just what you want to throw away.
No, but a manageable
very
thing
different.
for
very, very
shower.
different.
I did spend a bunch of money on a shower remodel and everything, but that was. I guess that's just what you pay for things now.
I'm surprised you didn't do it yourself. You did your roof.
I did not do my roof myself.
Didn't you say you put in a new roof?
Well, I put for it to be put in.
Okay, never mind.
Yes, we put in a new, like a company came and put in a new,
okay.
I've done a lot of demolition at the house. Like I tore down a crappy old shed. I tore down a hot tub side room that was the prior owners had installed and left to rot.
Nice, fun.
Etc. Like that. I've done flooring and stuff in like the basement.
Okay.
I've done that myself, but I think I might do the rest of the bathroom. I think I might do, but the tub seemed a step too far.
A tub you should have some experience to do the tub. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, actually, yeah. Anyway, this is not construction hour. Although it is fun. Welcome back, Little High School Sports. We are still in the preseason mode, but I have been some places in the high school football season.
Seen some things, met some people, shake some hands. I have been to practices at Hoosick Valley, at McCann Tech, at Wacona, at Taconic. Later today, I'll be at Lee and Monument. Tomorrow, I'll be at PHS. So I'll be making my way around the county. And I think the first thing is just there's a lot. Hoosick, McCann, and Taconic had good numbers, which was very exciting because the thought going into the season was that numbers would be down everywhere. And I haven't seen PHS. I haven't seen Lee or Monument, so we'll see what happens. But McCann, John Rochello, met the coach there. He is in his second year now. And they have good numbers. He said pretty much everyone who's an underclassman came back. There's a bunch of kids who played in 2023, did not play in 2024, his first year, and they've come back. So he said it's actually because they lost Musa Thompson, who was a second-team All-Berkshire running back, was their offense. Parker Hart, who did get hurt early in the season, but was a really good player for them. He graduated. Brody Rymiller, who was a mainstay at offensive line, he graduated. So they lost a lot. They lost both of their starting quarterbacks. A lot of replacement to do. The good news is there was a big group of juniors who hadn't played in 2024 with the regime switch who are now coming back. So there was some more talent coming in. Aiden Ford, who was a good player under John LeClaire, was hurt last year, so now he's back as a senior. That's good.
And, what he said was simple, is, everyone wants a winning season. It's just how hard are they going to work? And so that was kind of, I was there on the first day of practice. It was very much, you could tell it was kind of not tryout day. They'll take everyone who's there. But, it was that day one of, we're going to see what you got in you and who's been working out in the off season and who hasn't. So, we'll see what happens with McCann. It is definitely going to be a who wants this thing. But I think they're eager. They play 7 games this year. I know they're trying for an 8th, but right now it's 7. Rough start.
It was not a
rough start. They're at Bay Path, which is in Bay Path Voke, which is in Charlton in Worcester County. Bay Path went 8-0 last year, made the D6 playoffs, and so we'll see how they are this year. But that's a very good tech school. Franklin Tech is an excellent tech school in Western Mass. Won 7-1 last year, and then they have a week off. Or 2 weeks off, actually, I think. And then they're in Tri-County League play, so they'll have Monument and Smith Voke and Pathfinder and Belchertown. So, I mean, I definitely think they'll have some pieces, but, it's just, what does the offense look like?
I have no...
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to... The offense was kind of Musa. The offense... at least late in the season after Parker Hart was hurt, and it was pretty much Musa Thompson either running the ball. He made a huge catch in the Drury game, and like you said, the starting quarterback late in the season was Alex McDermott, who was also a senior. The bright side, there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of bodies, which is good. He seemed hopeful. He said, we got like 140, 150 kids every year at the school. You're telling me that there's not talent there? Like, I think what he's hoping for is that he knows McCann has been losing for a while, and the infrastructure really isn't there, right? And if you're a kid at McCann, you're going, well, why am I playing? They're going to lose, and so it's a hard turnaround where you got to try and convince everyone to come out and say, hey, look, we can go win. And that's where I think the end of the season last year was great, where you beat Drury, you beat Taconic, and you start showing people we can win. We can do these things. I mean, McCann-Drury is a historic rivalry, and the final game in that rivalry, McCann wins. So that's pretty special. So, you hope that helps give them a little momentum for just retaining kids and building belief in the program. We'll move on to where Drury is now. Hoosick Valley, which hosts Drury and Mount Greylock. By the way, I'm dubbing that the Blue Mountacanes. That's my name for it. The Blue Mountacanes, portmanteau of Blue Devils, Mounties, and Hurricanes. Blue Mountacanes. All right, I'll sit with that for a little bit.
I created a little logo for that. I'll post it somewhere. That was crazy because they got numbers, which is just never something you see with Hoosick. They were always in that like 23 to 26 range, and they have a dozen seniors this year, and it's like, okay, well, now you're gonna have 10 kids next year, and they're in the 50s. It's incredible, and it's just Hoosick always had that top. Their starting 11 was great, and then it was just depth that was the issue, and now all of a sudden they have depth. And Marshall Maxwell, the head coach, is very happy. He said, we have 8 or 9 guys who can start on the offensive line. Now, that's incredible. That's really, really important, especially if you're trying to make a deep playoff run. Do you have fresh bodies in the second half? Do you have guys who don't necessarily have to play both ways? That's going to be really, really important. And he's also said it's about the competition aspect because, like last year, if there's nobody who's going to replace you, nobody who can replace you, you can kind of slack, right? You could freelance on plays. You don't have to care as much. Whereas now, there's dudes behind you. Even if they're not as good, there's dudes behind you pushing for a chance, and so you kind of have to lock in a little more. There's a threat. There's you got to be on the ball, and so that's going to be really big. And what he said is, we want to make this all one team. He was very happy that he said the kids have come together organically. This coaching staff hasn't had to do that at all, which is a good sign. But he said, they knew they weren't going to get over the hump without the help. they needed they needed the extra bodies, they needed the extra depth, they needed the extra pieces on top to put them over the top. And they want to win a state championship. He said, the expectation at Hoosick Valley is you can compete for state championships. And this is what is going to help them do that. And he knows that, and the kids know that. And I think that's going to be a big boost for how this co-op looks. And yeah, I mean, I'll say it. I think they should be the best team in the county this year. They're loaded. They got a bunch of 4-year seniors who are really good. And they're looking to 2023 Final Four, 2024 kind of disappointing. This is the last ride for a lot of them, and they got numbers, they got depth, they have top end talent. I absolutely think they could make a serious run. I think 8-0 is very much on the table. It's just whether or not they can do it.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out. I think last week, maybe before you were there. Who was going to be back from the jury program that would be kind of bolstering that. And I mean, in your story, it was 2 new guys who I believe, at least I think Noah was a soccer player last year.
They hadn't played football, which I also think goes into the, if you play for jury, which is losing, you don't really want to play, right?
Sure.
But if Hoosick's winning, sure, you'll play for the winning team.
Yeah.
Right? It makes it easier to grab kids.
It's certainly, yeah, it's the like the NBA thing of ring chasing, but we're really good now. We can pick up a buyout guy who,
veterans want to come.
Yes, yeah. The rising tide, etc. So yeah, to pick up some athletes there. But yeah, did you notice anyone from jury football?
They were all in a red and they were all spread out, so it was hard. Yeah. It was hard to. I also wasn't sure jury was going to lose a lot of seniors.
Yeah, so, that's what everyone we thought of, everyone I could think of from jury last year had likely graduated. And that's why, and then your story comes in, and it's Noah Arnold, Julian Feliciano are the 2 guys you talked to who neither played football last year.
Right.
I know Noah, I believe, was on the soccer team, varsity soccer last year, and Julian, we know more from baseball, as kind of the starting catcher for the past couple of years. So two very high level athletes, though, to throw into a football pads, as we saw last year with, I think, Pittsfield mostly, and I guess Lee as well with Luke Gambaroni. That if you get a high level athlete into football pads, you can
you can do some things.
Yeah.
It helps out as a kicker, especially. There's definitely some names coming back, but I just don't know if they are there. I'm waiting. When we get rosters, then I'll be able to tell a little better. But yeah, no, Hoosick Valley looks good. They have numbers. They're excited. They should be. They have a great schedule. They play Wacona in week 1A to start off with on a Saturday. That's awesome. That's a lot of fun. They have PHS as well. They play what? You pulling a face?
Nothing.
Did you pull the face? Okay.
Nope.
No, yeah, they play PHS the first time in like 8 years that's happening, so that's a really cool game. They're playing Monument Mountain again, which has kind of been a budding rivalry. Was a very close game last year, and then they'll get Lee and Taconic in the regular season. Hoosick Valley and Lee play every other Berkshire team not named McCann. So I realized this yesterday. We could legitimately have like a Berkshire County championship game de facto, just in the season. Because there's so much inter-county play which would be really, really fun to, just kind of crown this thing.
It's across the board too. I finally did, not finally, I'm ahead of the game here. I put in the girls soccer schedules to our master. We just have a master list of every game in the county every day. So I finally put in the girls one, and by the time you got to like the last girls teams that I was putting in whatever order, I had to put in like 3 games on some of the schedules just because every other game had already been put in because they're all playing each other.
Teams are all together.
It's fantastic. Yeah. The master schedule this year is probably going to be like 30 inches shorter than it was last year just because of that.
Right. Speaking of Taconic, I was at Taconic and Wacona on I think Tuesday, was it? Yeah. And Wacona is of the first 4 teams I saw. Wacona was the only one smaller numbers than usual. They have 35, which for a lot of teams would be great. For Wacona, that's on the smaller side. It kind of feels crazy to say just because they've been a machine for so long. And Gary Campbell Jr. It was funny. He's like, yeah, it's small this year, and then next year we're going to get like 15 to 20. And the year after that, we're going to get 15 to 20. So next year they're going to be massive again. But they lost 15 seniors. That's huge. They only have 6 this year, so they'll have a really good core next year. But this year's kind of the in-between year. Which, for once, perhaps Wacona is rebuilding. We'll see what happens. They're going to lose a lot. Landon Corcoran, who was a 2-time second-team quarterback, he's gone. Threw for 1,000 yards last year. Wes Dews, leading rusher in the county, he had 16 total touchdowns. He's gone. Garrett Taylor, who was a first-team defensive back, second-team receiver, he's gone. Ethan Shizula, 2-time first-team offensive lineman, he's gone. Julius Cavlin, first-team defensive lineman, he's gone. Braden Melly, who was Defensive Player of the Week in Week 2, second-team defensive back or cornerback, he's gone. There's just a lot of guys who are gone.
Do they have a third kid named Braden Melly?
I would throw something. Okay, so you guys don't understand. So in 2023, Braden Melly, Braedyn Melly, was the quarterback and then switched to wide receiver. And
then graduated.
That was fine and graduated. He was a senior. We knew this. And then in 2024, I'm deciding player of the week, defensive player of the week, and Braden Melly had some huge plays in the win over Hoosick. And all of a sudden I see Braedon, and I lose it. What is this? He's also a senior, and they both were wearing the same number. Braden Melly with a Y was 5, and Braedon Melly was
very confusing day for us.
So yeah, Gary Campbell, I messaged him and was like, "What's going on here?" And he was like, "No, they're I think he said they're cousins maybe." I guess parents got funky with that one. In any case, yeah. So Mike, if your brother has a kid named Henry as well, but he spells it HINNRIE, I'm gonna be really angry.
No, the closest we came was like I have a buddy. We had the name Quinn was on our list for girls, and I have a buddy who had got a dog and named it Quinn. We were pregnant, and I was like, damn it! All right, can't do Quinn now because that would be. I don't know. I guess it would have been weird, but not really. Whatever. You like a name.
Kind of
a
weird name for a dog. That's a human name.
That's true. Well, some people go that route.
In any case, yeah. So that was weird. That was a weird one. But no, he is gone. If they have another Braden Melly, I will be very. There will be something said to the people in Dalton. What's going on? There's other names. In any case, Wacona has some pieces. Jackson Crow is back. Lucas Ostrander's back. Those are 2 good offensive linemen to kind of build around because they lost some guys on the line. Jerry Beaubrun, I'm looking for a breakout season because last year he got hurt in Week 3 against PHS, and he was a really nice number 2 behind Wes Dews. Had a lot of power up the middle, and obviously just didn't get a lot of carries because Wes Dews was Wes Dews. He got hurt. He's back now. I think he'll have a really nice season. He's only a junior. Anthony Talora is back as a senior. He was 5th or 6th on the depth chart. Same with Lorenzo Lewis. I think they both could be in for a breakout. Quarterback is going to be a question mark. There's a competition there. What I like from Gary was he's genuinely seen. He said, I love the 35 I have, and I could tell. He seemed like he really liked the group that he has. This might not be the Wacona of a couple years ago where you're like they can beat anyone they play, but. I think this is a group that's going to be a lot of fun. He very much likes them. They're going to take their lumps. They're really young.
Who's in the mix at quarterback?
I don't know who's in the mix at quarterback. No one else played last year. So it's just I don't know. I didn't recognize any of the jersey numbers either. Okay. And it's too early to have jersey numbers.
I will say Lorenzo set a 400-meter record at the school in the spring. So wouldn't be surprised if he gets the ball a little more this year. Yeah,
he was like 5th on the depth chart last year, so just kind of one of those things. But he definitely, when he caught the ball, a lot of them were deep catches.
Yeah, I should say arguably the fastest kid in the county for longer than 100 meters. But even around 100 meters, he's top 3.
And then Taconic. Taconic, rough season last year. No other way around it. 0-9, brutal. Justin Bailey's first year, he's back. He's looking to grow. He said he looked in the mirror, trying to get better as a head coach. They're looking to help switch that culture as to had been at Taconic. Quarterback is definitely a question mark. They had 5 kids start last year. So, they're looking to perhaps solidify. He said it's an open competition. Some guys that Eddie Ferris is another one that I'm looking for a breakout season. He was really, really good last year, but he only played essentially 2.5 games because he got hurt as well. Takana had some injury issues. But Ferris, I mean, if you see him in baseball and you're like, he's got the power to go deep, you can see the power in football. I mean, he is a physical runner. He can take guys up the middle. As a linebacker, he can crunch ball carriers. Really, really nice player. I think he is very much going to be the engine of their offense. How good the run blocking is, we'll find out. But yeah, he is. I think he's in line for a really good season. Hopefully, he stays healthy. Evan Roccabruna might be a breakout season for him as well. The first 5 weeks he had 120 something receiving yards, and then just quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff. And
had to play quarterback.
He played quarterback for a game. So yeah. As a playmaker, Justin Bailey's realized they want to get the ball in his hands. He's got a lot of talent, so they're going to see what happens there. They got some good linemen. Blake Couture, Ty O'Neill, Kalen Thomas. They got a couple new guys, so they'll definitely have some talent. But yeah, the question is just, can they all come together? Can they play as a unit? This is going to be and what does the offense do? Because the offense last year just disappeared so often, and then the defense is out there a lot of times, and it's just, we'll see what happens. They got a really rough schedule. They got West Springfield in Week 1A. They have PHS in Week 1. They play, who's their Week 3 opponent? Now I'm blanking. Why can't I remember this now?
Is it Hoosick? No, they're in the league with Hoosick, right?
They're in they have Lee and Hoosick Valley in their league. They have South Hadley in their league, East Hampton and Holyoke. So no breaks there. Oh man, why can't I remember this? Now this is irritating me.
I do have the internet.
Thank you. Use the internet.
Week 3 is Commerce. So
Commerce. Thank you. Yes, Commerce could very much be there. You need to win this game because they could easily be 0-2 to start the season.
If you don't put up like West Springfield's West Springfield, but if you go into the Pittsfield game in the past couple of years, it hasn't been like much of a fight.
Been competitive.
So if you put in a fight there, then the rest of the season is very promising. If you get blown out there, that's going to be a demoralizing thing for a program that's been demoralized for a couple of years now with everything from coaching changes to just losses and bad ones.
Yeah, that's it. That even when Taconic has been winning, the losses were not very close usually, and so that's kind of like that's what you want to change.
It's not very fun that Pittsfield kind of gets played week 2 or week 1, whatever it is. That is a nice, I guess, kind of especially for Taconic, a little bit more of a benchmarky thing of like, okay, are we a legit football program that's going to rival our the guys across the street?
I mean, no, it's like you said, right? If they go in and even if you lose, but if you lose 24-20, right, or 36-33, that's, you can be like, all right, hey,
wins are coming.
We're there. Yeah. Wins are coming. We're real now. League. Yeah. But if you lose, especially with how much Pittsfield has lost, if you lose 36-12, now it's like, oh nope. Even though PHS graduated all their offense, you're still nowhere close. And are you playing with effort? And so there's a lot of big question marks. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think of the 4 teams I saw, they all have reasons for optimism. They all have question marks, but it's. I think they could have some. There could be some real seasons coming up, and like I said, it'll be a Lee and Monument later today. We'll see how they are. Lee coming off the 8-0 season, Monument coming off 5-3. They graduated a bunch, and then I'll be at PHS on Friday. We'll see how they look. You got a minute left. Is there anything else? Is there another show you want to plug?
Another show? Oh no, that went well on Sunday.
Mike got to brag that he had male friends.
Kinda, yeah. That was fun. Go check out that play, King James, down at Barrington Stage. It was very cool. I enjoyed it a lot. No, I mean, if you I was curious just if you have like a preseason pick for like offensive and defensive players of the year, just kind of off the rip.
Let's see, we got 30 seconds. I'll say I would be surprised if Quinnell Bradley is not in the mix for one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He could easily
arguably both of them.
He could be in the mix for both of them,
Yeah,
100%. I think he's in line for a huge season.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
I mean, what Freddie Conyers looks like in a different offense is
that's
a curious,
question. That's going to be the
thing
question.
for me to see.
Without Marcus Jubry throwing on the ball is a very different.
Or that other.
If Taconic has a 500 or better season, it'll be because of Eddie Ferris, and then he'll be in the conversation.
Okay.
But thank you guys for listening, and have a good rest of your week.